All right, we're back live with another end of day PulseWave report with yours truly, the Algo Capitalist, aka the Vulcan, coming to you live from PulseWaveTrading.com, home of the world famous PulseWave Price Trigger reports. And as you know, tomorrow is Take Back Friday. So in our Thursday edition, it's pretty quick, it's pretty short. And we're just going to look at what we are expecting for tomorrow's trading as well as the weekend. All right, so not so immersive, but we talk about enough. We give you enough to have something to go on. It's been a wild week, and I don't think that's going to change tomorrow or tonight. There's just been so much going on, and there's so much uncertainty still in the world today. There's just so much going on. It's a mess. That's why you need the pulse waves. You need the pulse waves now more than ever before, so you can wade through all the nonsense and get right to the heart of the matter. Oh, thank you for that love, that donation there, IT. Mad respect to you. I really appreciate that. Thank you. Yeah, so we're going to go over from a weekly perspective to get a quick review of the week and what things look like and where they need to go. Yeah, I can add that Litecoin in there for you. A lot is riding on tomorrow. As you know, Fridays are key days. A lot of things can happen. Option expiration, future contract expiration. Just a lot of stuff can happen that can make the markets move around. And I want to also caution you that right now we are in a news cycle driven market. So at any moment, at any time, something can jump off and the markets can respond to it just because of all the chaos that's in the world today. So you want to keep that in the back of your mind as well. All right, so let's go ahead now and jump into our first chart. In honor of my man IT, here is Litecoin for you, Litecoin chart. Okay, so far, all things being equal, the market continues on its current trajectory. We're setting up for a primary rally alert going into next week. Now, keep in mind that Friday for futures and forex start Thursday night, meaning tonight. It's tonight at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard New York time. We started Friday's trading session. All right, and it will run until tomorrow around 5 o'clock. All right, and that's a Friday for futures and forex. For crypto, Friday starts from tonight, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard New York time until 6 p.m. Eastern Standard New York time on Sunday. All right, I didn't make that up. It's just the way that those crypto markets are structured. That's how the exchanges move, and that's just how it is. So I didn't make it up. It's just that's the way they do it. Don't ask me why. Don't ask me how. I have no idea. I just deal with it. So you have to deal with it also. So keep that in mind. All right, when you go into look at your portfolios, look at your open positions, just keep that in mind. That's what you need to have happen. Okay. All right, so the next one here is Xrp Ripple. And as you can see here so far, you have basically a narrow range inside day, or should I say week, because it's a weekly chart. All things being equal, you're setting up for a continuation pattern into next week, a bullish one. All right. And you're right, having problems right here at that overhead trend line resistance. I think the market will probably pop through that. And you'll probably get up to the 90-cent handle before you start running into your secondary resistance points in your XRP Ripple. All right, let's go to ADA Cardano. All right, pull that one up. All right, so on the ADA Cardano, same thing. It's setting up for a primary rally alert going into next week. All things being equal, we'll see how these markets close for Friday. But overhead trendline resistance around the $1.30 level seems to be in play at this point. If the bulls can keep this rally going, I think there's a very strong indication of that happening. So looking good right now. For this particular market. Looks like you're crossing over to the green zone from the red zone. So you're flipping from a bearish perspective and bias to a more bullish perspective and bias. All right, so just keep that in mind, that's what's shaping up in those particular markets. All right, as far as the US dollar, so far going into next week, looks like a continuation pattern here as well. As the bullish momentum still to be in play. This market is knocking on the door, getting close to par, ladies and gentlemen. We'll see what happens. I think it's probably going to test that par level, which means it's going to put pressure on everything else. All right, here's the Nasdaq 100 futures. All right, all things being equal, having some resistance around the 14,500 level. And this market is showing some resilience as well. The bulls are trying to keep things in play. You've gone from a bearish to a more bullish perspective, so I think the market will eventually push through. Depending on what happens tomorrow, though, all things being equal, it's on pace to do some more bull running into next week. Possibly we're building a base for a bottom. All right, next up is crude oil. Here's your crude oil. All right, so far, this market is also showing more upside to come into next week. We've been hitting new weekly highs back to back to back to back. So far, we've made a bullish pointer. So we'll see how these markets finish. Tonight and tomorrow, it's going to be very critical for forex and futures, so keep that in mind. All right, looking at the Russell My Hustle, you see here. All right, so far, this one is also setting itself up for more upside potential going into next week. Tomorrow will be critical. So far, if this was already to close and this is Friday already, it's setting itself up for continuation. Has some strong resistance around the 2100 level. Just keep that in mind as well. Strong resistance around 21, but right now it's looking like the bulls are starting to build long positions. Looking at silver here, so far it looks like we're setting up for more upside potential going into next week, but the market is having problems around the $25.50 level. That seems to be a very significant resistance, probably because it's the bottom of the Kumo cloud. All right, so it's possible this market could bump its head first, and maybe we even start pulling back. Tomorrow's trading will be very critical to see exactly what this market does. Looking at bonds, the ticker is TLT. So far, this market's shaping up for a primary rally alert for next week. Overhead trend line resistance at $145 is the initial target, followed by the bottom of the Kumo cloud, and that's around the 150-ish level. We'll see how the market finishes tomorrow, but so far we have a bullish pointer that the market has made so far this week. We'll see what happens. It looks like the market's trying to put in a bottom. Next up, we have corn futures. So far, this market's put in a new weekly high and is looking to stretch. It wants to stretch. This is a very critical, key resistance zone that the market has broken through, and now all it needs to do is close. We basically looking for a close tomorrow above 772 3/4. All right, the market needs to close above 772 and 3/4. That would take out the old high and establish this bull market here. But you still got a long way to go. And the reason being is because on a weekly chart, your trend line is still in the Kumo cloud. So that trend line needs to come out of the Kumo cloud topside in order to really give the market the support it needs. Until it does that, technically speaking, the market can drop all the way back down here. That will put it back in the Kumo cloud and make the market consolidate between 550 and 600. Or should I say between 550 and $6 a bushel. And that could go on for a significant period of time, just sideways action, while maintaining this lofty price action. Next up, we have soybeans. All right, soybean futures. Here's how it's looking. So far, this is an inside week for soybeans. Last week, you ended on a bullish pointer. So far, the market hasn't tested or taken that out. It's just a narrow range inside week. Possibility that the market could explode higher next week or even lower. This bar is not completed yet. We need to see where the market closes before we can really make those final decisions on what's going to happen. But so far, the bull market is just been straight up with no pullback, no correction. So keep that in mind as well. All right, wheat has been the real monster right here. Look at this. This is a 1 week. This is this week's bar alone. We've been lock limit up every day this week. All right, this total obliteration of anyone who's short. If you're short in wheat futures, you're hating your life because you can't get out of the market. The market has been lock limit and it stays that way all day, allowing no wiggle room for bears to get out of short positions. This is a painful lesson. This is why you need the PulseWaves, people, because coming even before getting to this week, you had the primary buy trigger right here on the week of January the 21st, and you could have been locked all up in there, and that would have been a beautiful thing for you. The bear cycle ended back here. You had your initial sell signal the week of December the 3rd, and then by January the 21st, you were out of that. All right, you were liquidating that and switching. So that's why you need the PulseWaves. The PulseWaves to help you and tell you when to get in, when to tighten stops, all that good stuff. So wheat is on tap right now. I mean, it's still lock and limit, folks. So this is a dangerous market. Once the pullback or correction comes, it will be extremely violent. Just look at this bar. You went from $8.85 all the way up to $12.89 a bushel, folks. This is wheat. The average price for wheat during the past 200 years was $4 a bushel, folks. 4. All right, this is a 300% increase in the price of wheat. This is incredible. This is absolutely incredible. All right, next up we got gold. Let's look at these metals. All right, so here's your gold. Gold is having an inside week. Last week we had that bullish pointer. Market is just chilling right now. I think that it's setting itself up to blast and take and or test this high here into next week. Sometimes the markets will do that. They'll put that pointer in place and then wait and come out and explode with a narrow range bar. So we're watching that one. We're going to see. Right now, the bulls still have it, though. This market has a long way to go, though. You have your trend line still inside of the Kumo cloud. That needs to come out topside, okay? It's going to have to. It's going to have to lift off, too, because right now it's still flatlined. Even though you have a bullish perspective here, the market's trying to trend. It's trying to trend, but it has a long way to go. You have a lot of consolidation zones of the past to overcome, and that's why it's kind of stalled here. So this is that's one to watch. All right, and then let's see. Here's nat gas. So nat gas had this monster of a bullish pointer on the week of January the 28th of this year, and since then the market has pulled back, and now it's consolidating. This bullish pointer is acting as a consolidation bar as well, and it's a very wide trading range. Top side $7.40, bottom $3.87. So that's a very spectacular range, and you're just getting sideways action at this point. All right, last but not least is the mighty Bitcoin. Here's your Bitcoin futures. All right, so this market is also consolidating with a bearish bias. You're just moving sideways, but the bears are keeping the market muted for now. This market's been, flip-flopping around, flailing around like a fish out of water. Hard to get a good read. When you're getting something, the market's just not moving. I mean, look at this. This zone here equals this zone here. So you're not getting a lot. You had 1 bar of upside production. Then you got your crash. You got 1 bar of downside production. Then you reverse again. So this thing is just flip-flopping all over the place. Doesn't know what it wants to do. But at some point, it's going to move. And until that happens, it's just a sideways market. All right, let's see here. You said VUN rent. VUN rent. I don't know what that is. Is VUN a stock ticker? Is it a crypto? Hold on, let's see. Okay, this is a very, very good question, and this is from my documentary series I did back in 2016, and it was called "There Is No Collapse." Absolutely, that's exactly what you see coming into play right now. It is coming into play. It's really not a collapse. When we think of collapse, we think of an organic action. All right. Everyone rushing to the exits for really no particular reason. It's just selling. But what we talked about in the documentary, and it's still up here on YouTube, I document for you how this is a willful act, a coordinated effort to take down the established thing that we have to build a new one. And I believe that the pandemic was a perfect opportunity to do that and a perfect excuse to do that. So I think that's what you're seeing transpire right before your eyes. Look what has changed. We have vaccine passports, and we got real ID being pushed now. There's so many things that's happening. I think again, Jero Salenti said it said it best. When they run out of options, they take you to war. I think this Russia invading Crimea was a scripted thing. I think that the leaders got together at these G8s and G20 meetings and came up with these plans, and they're doing everything according to plan. I think it's a coordinated thing. I think you're just looking at political theater, and you're looking at the military-industrial complex bail out the economy. War always bails out, the economies when the economies are, collapsing and things of that nature. The collapse that you have seen happen, you can't ignore something bad has happened, but it was done on purpose. It's not like we woke up one morning and the Dow was down 10,000 points, and it's because everyone's selling, because everyone just decided, you know what, I need to take profit. That's not what happened here. We had a coordinated effort worldwide. Every country, for the most part, agreed to shut down the global economy. They locked everything down for a flu virus. I could see if this was 1988 and they did this because of the AIDS epidemic. Now, that was an epidemic. That was a pandemic. Everyone knows someone who has either died from the HIV virus that causes AIDS, dying from full-blown AIDS, or living with it, with the virus. Not many of us can say that about this current situation. All right, so just keep that in mind. Anyway, this is not about that. Just wanted to answer the very good question. So yes, it's still on and it's very well in play, and they're moving all the pieces on the chessboard. All right, with that said, y'all know what to do, man. Do me a favor, smash that like button, and remember, bulls make money, bears make money, and pigs get slaughtered. So remember to take what you can and give nothing back. And I hope everyone has a wonderful weekend. And if you haven't already done so, you need to get these PulseWaves so that you can know what's coming and how to profit from it. This is a good time. This is our year. This is our year. I believe it may be our last chance to make obscene amounts of profit in these markets, in these moves, and you need to be in on these moves. All right, so come to pulsewavetrading.com, handle your business, and get in here because you're going to need it. All right, with that being said, everyone have a great weekend. See you guys back here next week, and I'm out. Peace.